Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to our show. Glad that you are here on a Friday. If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here on our channel, we help to educate, we help to empower, and we help to encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications. Live that life you've always wanted and go to the next level. We are on a 31-day live stream every day in August. Lita, live every day in August. And we've been working on improving ourselves. Today is no exception. We all have an idea of who we are, or at least who we want to be. Let's say that. But often we don't take the time to really think about it. We just go with the flow, letting circumstances and other people, other events dictate our behavior in our lives. As a result, we end up living our life in our default identity. We're not being intentional about who we want to be. We're just reacting, if you will, to every new idea, every new thing that happens, even though it doesn't align with our goals. And if we're not careful, this can lead to a lot of wasted effort and time. And so today, as part of our Designing a New You, Designing a New Me, our series that we've been doing, we're going to talk a little bit about identity and what do we do? What does it mean? And how we can use it. Once again, we are here in August. August is our anniversary month, and we're excited because we're doing a live every day in this month. That's right, every single day in this month, and we are on day number 11. I had to look up there to see what day we're on. We're on day number 11. If you're out there, if you are new to the channel, go ahead and put new in the comments. We'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. If you are also new and you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments, and we will get to those. In front of it, put a Q and a colon, Q colon, and we'll get to those questions. If you're out there in other social media platforms, we've got TikTok. So not TikTok, but we've got Twitter and we've got Facebook that's there. We are working on LinkedIn. It's not there yet. We've been having some issues with it as we've gone live the last several days. So just if you're on LinkedIn, come on over to Facebook, come on over to Twitter, come on over to YouTube. But we are working on getting our stream over on LinkedIn. So we'll get there in a little bit. Okay. so let's jump in. Jump into our topic. So like most people, you're probably living on autopilot. Let's face it, right? Life is happening. It's time. Sometimes we take a back seat, right? But it's time to take back control. We have got to create a personal identity that reflects who we truly are, who we want to be. We need to choose our own path rather than letting others and our and other things choose our destiny for us. Only then can we start living the life we really want, right? So we've been talking over the last several days, and if you have not already done so, go back and look at some of the other videos that we've done. We've done setting goals, staying motivated, how to create SMART goals. We did one where we talked about what success meant. So all of those are in this same series, and we're just continuing that process now. The good news, though, is that you can choose to create a new identity for yourself. One that's based on values that you possess, based on your passions, and based on your aspirations. So our values really are the things that drive us, right? We talked about beliefs in one of the videos that we did several days ago. And it is that value that helps to dictate and helps to govern what we want to do and what we want to be. So ask yourself, who do you really want to be? And then go out and be that person. The world needs more of us that are actually living in that truth. Right? So let's go ahead and let's pull up a little slide here. So number one, and actually let me go back here. There are a lot of things, right, that people say. There's this old saying that you are what you eat. But I think more accurately, it's accurate to say that you are what you believe. After all, it's our beliefs that drive our behavior. And based on a behavior, we can see what we really value. right? Because sometimes we say one thing, but we behave in a different way. So we all have that idea of what we want to be, who we are, and who we want to be, right? But sometimes it doesn't reflect what we're doing because, there are these things that happen that kind of take over, right? You've got the job and you've got to stay late. You've got the family, and in the family, we've got to drop the kids here. We've got basketball, we've got choir, we've got soccer, we've got, travel ball. We got all those different things. And sometimes if we're not careful, looking at our lives and looking at the things that we're doing, it doesn't really reflect who we want to be, right? Because we've allowed things to basically kind of happen on their own, right? This is because we're not living intentionally. We're living based on this kind of a default identity, right? So we've got these things in the back of our mind, but we just kind of are going on autopilot. So depend on your days, all right? Depending on how you spend your days, working, your things that you're doing may not really align with the goals that you say are important to you, right? Do you spend your days working towards your goals that you say are important, or do you just go through the motions and you follow somebody else's agenda? Do you stand up for yourself, or do you let others take advantage of you? Do you decide what kind of person you want to be, or do you just let things happen and you just go along with whatever everybody else says? The way you see yourself will shape how you see the world and how you interact with the people around you. If you see yourself as kind and compassionate, then you're more likely to act that way, right? So as we think, so it is. So where does this idea of the default identity come from? Okay, let's pop over there, right? Because our identity drives our behavior. So where does this default identity come from, right? So we all have multiple identities. We've got identities on a job. We've got identities that we use at work. We've got social media identities, right? So there are people who know us in a certain way. A lot of times when somebody says, who are you? What do you do? The question is, what do you do? Right? Meaning, what job do you do? Or what is your specialty? What is your area? What's your industry? And while some of these identities kind of overlap, right, they each provide a different kind of picture, a view into some aspect of our lives. But what is the default identity? The one that influences all the others. For a lot of us, it's shaped by our family and our culture. It is the identity that we were born into, and it often dictates how we see ourselves in our place in the world. So where does it come from? As we grow older, we may start questioning some of those things that we had as a young child or young adult, right? We may reject some of the things that we saw, some of the values or beliefs. We may choose to create our own identity, one that's influenced by our experiences and our choices. But no matter how much we change or grow, it is the default identity that many of us are living by. So in order to change, in order to grow, and remember, we're talking about expanding. We're talking about getting the life that we want. We're talking about going to the next level, right? Remember, we are educating, empowering, encouraging. And if we're going to do that, then we've got to live intentionally. We've got to live intentionally. So if you look at someone and you see what they do, then we said that it tells you some of their values. Because we say we want one thing, but we're doing something else. And it may simply be a reflection of what life has done. Right? And I want you to listen to that phrase. It may simply be a reflection of what life has done. And we are no longer content. I'm not content. And I don't want you to be content with that concept of what life has done. I don't want life to do stuff to me. Right? Oh, life got a hold of me. We say that sometimes. Oh, I was doing fine until, stuff happens. Well, no. I want to be in control of where I'm heading. And things may happen, but that doesn't mean that I have to let them derail me. Things happen, people die, we lose jobs, we lose houses, marriages break up. All those types of things do happen. And we're going to talk about those in a little bit because it doesn't define you. Right? That's right. So this is a very powerful idea, right? You are not your behavior. I want you to listen to me. We just said, though, that if you look at a person's life, look at what they do, it tells you about them, tells you who they are. But I want you to also know that you are not your behavior. It's so easy to fall into that trap of identifying ourselves as one event or a series of events, right? Some mistake that we made, some thought that we did. You made a mistake. That decision, that thought that didn't work out, the mistake you made. It's important to remember that although the actions are a reflection of your priorities, mistakes happen. We all make them. This doesn't mean that that's who I am, right? That doesn't mean that's who I am. You are not your behavior. You are not the things that you own. Let's go back to that, right? So you're not the things you own. You're not the sum of your accomplishments. You're not your job title. You are not your mistakes. You are not your insecurities or your fears. You are so much more than that. You are a unique individual with an infinite potential. Just because you behave in a certain way or own a certain thing or have a certain job, that doesn't mean that that's who you are. Don't let your identity be defined and pigeonholed into just that. Embrace all that you are. That's one of the reasons we're doing this live every day in August, right? So the things that we're doing. So I'm an endocrinologist by training. I'm an internist. I'm a pediatrician. That's what I was trained in. But there are so many other facets of me, right? Life experiences, things that I've learned outside of my training as I interact with patients, talking about their growth and their ability to expand and seeing their pain and wanting to say, how can I lend support to them? Embrace all that you are and that all that you can be, and be confident in who you are and do whatever it takes to achieve your dreams, right? That's ultimately what we're doing. So how do you separate your identity from events? Well, let's go back to this idea, identity and events, right? So everybody is talking about Will Smith. And I'm going to tell you, Will Smith is one of my favorite artists, right? I like him. I've loved what he's done. I like his movies. I like Fresh Prince. I like some of his music, right? So one of my favorite people. And recently, right, Will had an incident happen in his life. And we all saw it on the big stage. And it is tempting to say that that is who he is. After all, we saw it, live, live on the screen, right? Right there, when he walked up and slapped Chris Rock. The question I'm sure he's grappling with and people around him are grappling with, and the questions that we have to grapple with is when we do something that is out of character, okay, one, or something that is in character, that is not what we want to be and how we want to be. What do we then do? Do we allow that then to define who we are for the rest of our lives? There are some of us, and you're watching me right now, that you had an event happen to you 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, sometimes 30, 40 years ago. And that event has defined us for the last 30, 40 years. And we have internalized that. We have taken that mistake to mean that that's who we are. And I'm here to tell you that you are not your mistakes. Your mistakes, everything that's happened to you, is a part of your history. You can't get away from it. Like Will is going to have to deal with the fact that for the rest of his life, somebody's going to be able to pull up this video of him walking up on stage and slapping Chris Rock. Forever. It's going to be there. And when he's gone, the videos are going to be there. And people are going to be talking about it. And if we're not careful, the noise around us influences us, and we take that, we internalize it, and we say, that's who I am. And I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. So how do we separate our identity from the things that happen? Well, first, we need to recognize that our experiences are part of our history, just like I've said. But they do not have to control how we see ourselves. Right? There's been trauma in your past. There's been betrayal in your past. There's been brokenness in your past. There's been pain in your past. There's been failure in your past. There's been abandonment in your past. All of those things are part of the history, but they are not you. Number two, we need to focus on who we are now. Not who we were in the past. Focus on who we are now. And who we are now is what we're doing. We are designing a new us. Now, let me say this. When I say designing a new us, you may be totally and perfectly content where you are. You're living the dream. You're living, as they say, higher on the hog, right? You're hitting it. But designing a new me does not necessarily mean that we are in a place of difficulty. But it means that we're always trying to grow. So even if you're at the top of your game, there's room for improvement. And certainly for those of us who may be in a bad situation, there is the potential that is in us to soar like the birds. That's amazing. So focus on where we are. Our past doesn't have to dictate our future. We need, third, to be mindful of our language. Oh my God. We've got to be mindful of our language that we use to describe ourselves. The words we use can be so powerful. Words are amazing. They can either empower us or they can limit us. So instead of saying I'm a victim of domestic violence, say I'm a survivor. Last year or sometime we had a cancer survivor on our show. And I loved the positivity that she brought with her and her husband. Because that was her thing. Man, I am surviving. I am a survivor of cancer. These simple reframing of our words can be so powerful and can help us see ourselves in a more positive light and start to take back control of our lives as we work on figuring out who we are. What is our identity? I perceive it. I'm working to become, but I can claim it. There's somebody I want to be. There's some new identity I want to gain. There's some new thing I want to do. I'm working on getting there, but I can claim it right now. There's an old saying that says, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way to get it, right? And that's probably true. But let's reframe that and say, if you want something bad enough, you can begin speaking and living as though you've already achieved it. That may sound like some wishful thinking. I know. But hear me out. By visualizing what you want to be, and living and talking in that way, you begin to bring your goals and dreams into reality. You've heard me say probably a million times by now that whatever you tell your brain, it will find evidence to support. Whatever you tell your brain, it finds evidence to support. So I am awesome. I know somebody in my life who says that about themselves all the time. I am awesome. And not in a braggy kind of way. I'm awesome. I am a content creator. For those of you, and we just, for the new crop of medical students, or well, I shouldn't say medical students, but for the new crop of residents who started earlier this month or last month, and for the new students who've just started medical school, I am a physician. You just got your new job and you are aiming to be the production manager. I am a production manager. I am a CEO. I am a CFO. I am a CIO. So visualize that. And don't just say the words, right? I want you to be in there. I want you to see the office. I want you to see what you're doing. I want you to close your eyes, smell it, feel it, touch it, taste it. Don't wait until you get there, right? Begin acting and behaving and talking and thinking right now. It's that whole idea of the person who is trying to quit smoking, right? Somebody say, "Hey, you want a cigarette?" And a lot of times they say, "Oh no, I'm trying to quit." No. Don't say I'm trying to quit. Say I don't smoke. Do you see the power in the change in language? I don't smoke. So taking a cigarette from you is not an option. But if I'm trying to quit, well, maybe I take one this time, and next time I won't take one. Somebody says, "Hey, do you want a cookie? Do you want some cake? Do you want some ice cream?" No, I'm trying to lose weight. No, I am living a healthier lifestyle. So right now, cake and cookies and ice cream don't fit into my lifestyle. But if I'm trying to, then yeah, I'll have some now. I'll get back to my diet later. I'll get back to my lifestyle later. Once again, do you see the power of the reframing? If you want to be confident, start using affirmations and speaking with conviction and confidence. If you want to be successful, start setting goals and taking action and steps towards achieving those goals. Don't wait. Start speaking now from the future. That's right. Pretend that you've been there, you've seen it, and you're just coming back to tell yourself, "Hey, we're there already, so let's start behaving like that." Powerful, powerful concept. So where does our identity come from? Where does our identity come from? It comes from lots of different places, and it is influenced by our families, influenced by our culture, influenced by the experiences that we go through, influenced by words that we say. Now, let me tell you a quick story. So my parents, my family is from South America, and my parents left when I was young to come here for a new life. My sister and I, we were raised by my grandparents. And so when we came, I was 7 years old, to live with these people, essentially strangers, right? Because we'd been living with the grandparents. We knew who they were. And so there's this question do I really belong? Do they really want me? And I remember we had moved into a new house, and I forgot what was going on, but somehow I think my mother smelled gas or something in the house. And I may have been 10, 11. And so I go downstairs and I turn off the pilot light to the water heater and turn off the gas. So my dad comes home. Remember what we're talking about. Do I belong? My dad comes home and my mom is now telling him this story. And she says, I don't know how he knew, talking about me, how he knew to go turn that thing off. And my dad, without missing a beat, said, oh, he's a Wood. That's my name, right? Wood. He said, oh, he's a Wood. So in that moment, the words, he's a Wood, made me belong. All of a sudden, I felt, oh yeah, I'm a Wood. So if you hear me introduce myself, right, there's pride when I say my name. Because I am a Wood. There's no doubt. He didn't hesitate. The power of the words. And that situation really, right, has in some instances pushed me, because I'm like, okay, so now I need to figure out to do more stuff, right? That's a whole nother story. But do you see the power of those words? They have the ability to drive us, to push us, to put power and energy in what we do, to be the wind in our sails. So, how do you change your identity? How do you change your identity? That's a good question. So the first thing is, look around you. And we talked about writing a statement, a mission statement for your life. If you've not done so, go back and look at that video, writing a mission statement for your life. But think about some people around you that you admire. Think about what they're like. And begin and pick, right? What I want to be like this person. And when I say like this person, I'm talking about their qualities, right? Imagine some qualities that you would like to possess. That's number 2. So think about people that you admire. Look at them and see what they're like. Begin incorporating some of that. Imagine some qualities you'd like to possess. And go about figuring out, how do I incorporate those into my life? Expand your mind, number 3. And the things that influence you, the experiences that you have. Read, travel, join some clubs. Don't just hang out at home, going on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and right. And of course, I say that as I'm streaming to those platforms. Watch me first, right? But you get the idea. You may need help. Get a coach, get somebody in your life that's going to be there to help you along. One of the things that I'm learning, still learning, is, I look at a lot of the athletes and some people who are like top of their game in whatever industry. And everybody thinks that those people are doing it by themselves. But do you know the people who are like the top athletes in the world have coaches? The people who are the top musicians, they have teachers, they have people who are with them, people who guide them. So you don't have to do this by yourself, right? So we're trying to change our identity. Talk to other people. Talk to other people, right? That's why it's so important to have that group around you. So important to have community. If you're looking around, if you're looking at your life and you don't like what you see, don't just change your routines and your habits, because the routines and habits are there to support what you're putting in. You've got to change your identity. So don't say, oh, I'm going to do this. You've got to change what you say you're heading for. And designing this new me, designing this new you, it is a fun, exciting process. It's not easy. There's some things we've got to say no to. We talked about that over this past few days. There are some great things that are going to be coming at you, right? I want to make that point. I want to keep making this point. There are some things that are going to be coming at you that are great opportunities, wonderful opportunities, terrific opportunities, but they don't take you where you are planning to go. They're not in your mission. And you're going to have to say, no, thank you. And I've heard somebody say recently, within the last 6 months, I think I was listening to something, and they say, you are partially the things you say no to. Because we often say, oh, the things that you do, the things, right, that's what you are. No, it's also partially the things you say no to. Well, no, I can't do that right now. I know that's a great opportunity, but that doesn't fit what I'm doing right now. I'm not allowing my life to be lived on this default identity. I am being intentional in what I do. So the final thing is, I want you to write an identity statement. So who do you want to be? Sit down, get a piece of paper, get your journal, by the way. Right? We want this all recorded. As we're building, as we're growing, I want you to document all this stuff that you're doing, because it's a roadmap for someone else. And you get to look back and see where you were and where you are right now. And you get to have gratitude. You get to say, my goodness, look at where I was, and look at where I've come from. So who do you want to be? What characteristics would you like to possess? What kind of person do you want to be? What drives you? What is the thing that gets you up in the morning? What is the thing that you think, what is your purpose? Amazing. Amazing. We are in the process of designing the life we want. The life we've always wanted. We're going to the next level. Come on, come on, come on, come on. This is day number 12. Day number 12 of our live every day in August. We're going to day number 31. Right? Live every day in August. We are so happy that you came, that you are watching. If you are getting benefit from what we're doing, if you're getting benefit from this video, from the videos that we've done before, go ahead and give us a thumbs up on this video, share it with your family and friends, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell so that you'll be notified when we go live and when we put up other content. Okay? And let your folks know. I am enjoying this, guys. I'm growing. I'm excited. Every time I get on or I'm doing one of these topics, I'm like, man, yeah, okay, that's me. I got to do that. And so when I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to you because I have reached, the pinnacle. I'm talking to you because I am right there in the trenches with you. I'm growing. I'm designing a new me. And sometimes I'm sharing with you some of the mistakes that I made? But no, we're not saying mistakes, right? We're changing. You see how easy it is? You see how easy it is to fall into old patterns, right? Remember, we said that any mistake or failure that we've made is just an example of how not to do that thing. Right? So we're changing. We're changing what we're talking about, what we're telling ourselves. Looks like we've got a visitor, Christopher Moore. Hey, Christopher, how you doing, man? Let me pop you up there real quick. Let me change to this one. See more. So thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate you being here. But this is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on this channel, we help to educate, we help to empower, and we help to encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level, and live that life that you've always wanted. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow on day number 13. I had to look up there. Day number 13 for our live every day in August. Come back and join us. Thank you for being here. Good night. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. Let's get some music and get out of here.